Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about high water streamer fishing. And look at this thing. This is an old fly, man. This thing's beat up. It's caught some good fish, but the thing that I really like about high water is streamer fishing. And I think because when I start thinking about streamer fishing, I think about fish moving around. And when I think about high water, that's one of the first things I start to think is the house of the fish has been disrupted, and they're starting to go, where do I need to be? How do I get comfortable? Et cetera, et cetera. And what that ultimately leads to for me is they're moving around and trying to find comfort. But at the same time, they're probably expending energy. So they're probably pretty hungry. Now, there's all kinds of things in the water moving as well that are baits like aquatic worms, insects, etc. But I really like streamer fishing. The thing I like about streamer fishing is you can get down and deep. So for me, when I'm high water streamer fishing, there are four elements that I want to cover. One is I want to cover more ground. Okay. So I want to be able to come across current as much as I can and really grid out my pattern and cover a ton of ground. I also want to be able to swing into scenarios, etc. High water to me is a great time to be able to fish downstream as well, because a lot of those fish aren't seen very well because of the turbulence in the water. The next thing that I like to look at, and this is not in a particular order, is going deep. It is important for me to be very deep on my fly fishing when it comes to streamers, and especially in high water. I do that through a couple of methods. One is I use a sink line. Some people prefer maybe a sink tip. That can get you there. Is usually not enough with a sink tip. You need a full sink line. Sometimes, in addition to that, you need more weight. So often, what I will do in that scenario is I'll actually add a tungsten or a lead cone head to the front of my leader. So I'll feed my leader through a tungsten cone head and then attach it to my fly. I have a tip on that in the podcast videos as well, so you can check that out. The next thing that I like to do is contrasting color. So this is a lighter fly. In a day where I have high water, I'd be throwing more of a dark fly. I might have some flash in it if it's a sunny day and I think I'm going to get some light penetration. But otherwise, the flash doesn't really do too much for me. But a contrasting color gives you that silhouette scenario. So when you're pulling at a cross, you're creating a silhouette and a potential attack. All right. So the fourth thing is I really think about where the fish are and where the bait fish are. So on high water, a lot of times what bait fish do is they're actually pushed out of the edge pools on the sides of the streams because the water's so high and turbulent, and they get pushed to the bottom of the river. In the bottom of the river is all the substrate. And what that is doing is creating hydraulics. And those hydraulics are like mini back eddies all along the way. And so, because they're so small, they'll often sit in those little mini hydraulics and then dart from one to the other. And that's what I'm trying to mimic with my flies as I attack for that day. So, give those four things around: cover more ground, go deep, use a sinking line or something of that sort. Use a contrasting color like black or purple. And then last, think about where the bait fish are hiding and target those areas specifically. Good luck out there, and we'll see you next time.